Your home could be at risk in the next 72 hours. Over 200 millimeters of rain already saturating the ground, and now 3 separate weather systems are lining up to hit Britain. The question is not if flooding will happen, but where will it strike next? Right now, at this very moment, heavy rain is hammering down across England and Wales. In the next 30 seconds, I will tell you exactly when the worst weather hits your area. And at minute 5, I will reveal which cities face the highest flood risk this weekend. Let me show you something that shocked even experienced meteorologists. In just the last 48 hours, parts of southwest England have recorded rainfall totals exceeding 80 millimeters. That is more than half of what we normally see in the entire month of February. The ground cannot absorb any more water. It is completely saturated. Here is what makes this weekend different. We are not dealing with one storm. We are dealing with a relentless barrage of rain bands moving up from the south, one after another. And here is the critical detail. The timing of these systems means there will be almost no break between them. Listen carefully to these numbers. Northern Ireland is expecting between 40 and 50 millimeters by midnight tomorrow. Southwest England and Wales could see another 60 to 80 millimeters by Friday evening. Some spots, particularly over higher ground, could receive 100 millimeters or more. Now, you might be thinking, rain in February, that is normal for Britain, right? But wait, this is not normal February rain. The intensity, the duration, and the geographical spread are all exceptional. And I am about to show you exactly when this hits your doorstep. London and the southeast. If you are in London, Friday morning starts wet but not extreme. However, by Friday afternoon, between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., a much heavier band pushes through. Expect rainfall rates of 5 to 8 millimeters per hour. The rain eases Friday evening. Saturday looks drier with scattered showers rather than persistent rain. Manchester and the northwest, your timing is more concerning. The persistent rain continues through all of Friday. We are talking about continuous rainfall for 36 to 48 hours straight. The heaviest period hits Friday evening between 6 p.m. and midnight when rates could reach 10 to 12 millimeters per hour. Saturday brings some improvement, but showers continue. Birmingham and the Midlands, you are sitting right on the boundary where rain meets snow. Thursday night into Friday morning, some of you saw snow over higher ground above 300 meters. By Friday afternoon, it is all rain. The peak intensity arrives Friday between noon and 8 p.m. Expect totals potentially reaching 40 to 50 millimeters in just 12 hours. Now, here is something critical. Remember this number, 500 meters. That is the elevation where we are still seeing significant snowfall right now. If you live in the Peak District, the Pennines, or the Scottish Highlands above this level, you could see 15 centimeters of snow by Friday morning. But here is the twist. By Friday afternoon, rising temperatures turn even high-level snow to rain. Leeds and Yorkshire, you face a double threat. First, persistent heavy rain all day Friday, with peak intensity between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Totals of 30 to 40 millimeters are likely. Second, if you are on the Pennines, that melting snow adds to the runoff, increasing flood risk in valleys and low-lying areas. Glasgow and the west coast, you have some of the better weather comparatively. Friday sees rain and hill snow, but less persistent than further south. Totals around 20 to 30 millimeters. Your temperatures stay cold though, 5 to 7 degrees Celsius. Edinburgh and eastern Scotland, an easterly wind is feeding moisture directly into your area. This means continuous rain Friday, particularly heavy across Aberdeenshire and Angus. Some areas could see 50 to 60 millimeters, temperatures just 4 to 6 degrees, feeling even colder in that persistent easterly wind. Aberdeen specifically, you face some of the worst conditions. That easterly wind is driving rain directly onshore. Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday look wet. 3 days of nearly continuous rain. Totals could exceed 80 millimeters by Sunday evening. Check your drains and prepare for localized flooding. Inverness and the Highlands, snow is falling to nearly all levels inland right now. Through Friday, this transitions to rain below 400 meters, but above that, snow continues. Some of the highest routes could see 20 to 30 centimeters by Friday evening. Travel disruption is almost certain on higher roads. Cardiff and South Wales, brace yourselves. You are in one of the highest risk zones. Friday sees relentless heavy rain with rates consistently above 8 millimeters per hour for extended periods. By Friday evening, totals across South Wales could reach 70 to 90 millimeters. The rain eases slightly Saturday morning, then another band moves through Saturday afternoon. 3-day totals could exceed 120 millimeters in the wettest spots. Bristol and southwest England, persistent heavy rain Friday with totals of 60 to 80 millimeters likely. The peak intensity hits Friday afternoon between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Rainfall rates could briefly touch 12 to 15 millimeters per hour in the heaviest downpours. Flooding is almost inevitable in usual trouble spots. Plymouth and Cornwall Friday morning starts with heavy rain that continues through the afternoon. Brief drier spells Friday evening, then overnight Friday into Saturday, another intense band arrives. The key for you is that showers could be thundery. When they hit, rainfall rates could spike to 20 millimetres per hour for brief periods. Now at minute 5, I promise to reveal the highest flood risk areas. Here they are. Number 1, river valleys in South Wales, particularly the Rhondda valleys and areas around Newport. Number 2, parts of Somerset and the Somerset levels. Number 3, areas of Cumbria and the Lake District. Number 4, river catchments in Aberdeenshire. Number 5, low-lying areas of Northern Ireland, particularly around Lough Neagh. Belfast and Northern Ireland, your Friday is wet with totals reaching 30 to 40 millimetres by midnight. The ground is already saturated. Any additional rain now runs straight off. Saturday brings continued showers. Some areas could see another 20 to 30 millimetres Saturday alone. That makes 70 millimetres potential over just 2 days on already sodden ground. Here is the question everyone is asking: when does this end? The unsettled pattern continues well into next week. Monday sees another system push through. Tuesday brings more rain. We are not looking at any prolonged dry spell until at least the middle of next week. But wait, there is a twist coming. Remember that number I gave you earlier, 500 metres the snow level? That is about to change dramatically. Starting late next week, probably around Thursday the 13th or Friday the 14th, the weather pattern shifts. Cold air pushes down from the north and northeast. We are talking about a proper cold snap that could last 4 to 5 days. Northern Scotland, you could see daytime temperatures drop to just 2 to 4 degrees Celsius, widespread overnight frosts. With that cold air in place, any precipitation falls as snow, even to low levels. We could be looking at snow in cities like Edinburgh, Glasgow, even potentially Newcastle. Central England, including Birmingham, Manchester and Leeds, temperatures could drop to 3 to 5 degrees during the day. Overnight frosts in rural areas. Snow becomes possible even in urban areas, particularly on higher ground within cities. The Pennines could see significant accumulations, potentially 20 to 30 centimetres over a few days. Southern England and London, while you might escape the worst of the snow, temperatures could still drop to 4 to 6 degrees during the day. Overnight frosts are possible in suburbs and rural areas. Any precipitation could start as sleet or wet snow before turning to rain. Snow in mid-February is not unusual, but here is what makes this potentially significant. We are going from one extreme to another, from flooding rain to freezing conditions in the space of just a few days. The rapid transition is what creates problems. And here is another twist. This is not a locked-in cold spell. We are seeing a battle between cold air from the north and milder air trying to push in from the Atlantic. This means wild swings in temperature. One day it is 2 degrees with snow, the next day it is 9 degrees with rain. Then back to cold again. Current models suggest the colder spell arrives late next week, around the 13th or 14th. It looks most intense from the 14th through the 18th. During this period, Scotland definitely sees snow, potentially significant amounts. Northern England has a high probability of snow, especially hills and moors. The Midlands could see snow, but it is more marginal. Southern England, you are on the borderline. Here are the temperatures during the colder spell. Aberdeen, daytime highs 1 to 3 degrees, overnight lows -2 to 0 degrees. Edinburgh, highs 2 to 4 degrees, lows -1 to +2 degrees. Glasgow, highs 3 to 5 degrees, lows 0 to 3 degrees. Newcastle, highs 3 to 4 degrees. Manchester, highs 3 to 5 degrees. Birmingham, highs 4 to 6 degrees. Cardiff, highs 5 to 7 degrees. London, highs 5 to 7 degrees. Compare those to where we are now. Southern areas are seeing 10 to 13 degrees. That is a drop of 5 to 7 degrees in just a week. Northern areas currently seeing 5 to 8 degrees will drop by 2 to 4 degrees. But before we get to that colder spell, we still have this weekend to navigate. The flooding risk this weekend is real and significant. Specific advice for different areas. If you are in South Wales, Southwest England, or Northern Ireland, check your property drainage now. Clear gutters, check drain covers, move valuables from ground floors if you live in a known flood risk area. If you are in Eastern Scotland, particularly Aberdeenshire, prepare for 3 days of nearly continuous rain. Stock up on essentials. Check that outdoor furniture is secured because that easterly wind will be strong. If you are in the Pennines, Peak District, or Scottish Highlands, travel conditions deteriorate significantly Friday. Higher roads could become impassable due to snow initially, then as it melts due to surface water. Avoid unnecessary travel Friday afternoon and evening if possible. For everyone else, Friday is the worst day. Plan accordingly. Avoid travel during peak rainfall hours if you can. Allow extra time for journeys. Expect spray and surface water on roads. Now, here is something important I want you to do. Leave a comment below telling me where you live. I read every comment, and I can give you more specific guidance for your exact location. The weather varies so much across Britain that general forecasts sometimes miss local details. Tell me your town or city, and I will reply with specific timing for your area. Looking ahead to next week, Monday the 10th looks wet again. Another band of rain pushes through. Tuesday the 11th continues unsettled with showers. Wednesday the 12th might offer a brief drier window, but confidence is low. Then Thursday the 13th, that is when the cold air starts arriving. And here is the teaser for my next video. By Monday, I will have much better clarity on exactly where that snow falls next week. The models will have converged on a solution, and I will be able to give you street-level detail for the snowfall forecast. If you live in Northern England or Scotland, you absolutely want to watch that next video. I will have accumulation forecasts, timing down to the hour, and specific travel advice. But there is another element I will cover that I have not mentioned yet. Some model runs are suggesting that during this colder spell, we could see a significant windstorm develop. Not definite yet, but possible. Strong winds combined with snow would create blizzard conditions in places. That is the scenario I will be monitoring closely over the weekend. So here is what you need to do right now. First, prepare for this weekend-s rain. That is your immediate priority. Second, start thinking about next week's cold spell. If you need to travel late next week, you might want to reconsider or at least have backup plans. Third, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss Monday's detailed snow forecast. One more thing. Temperatures I mentioned earlier are air temperatures. The feel-like temperature will be several degrees colder, especially in the wind. So when I say Edinburgh sees 4 degrees next week, with that easterly wind, it will feel more like 0 or -1 degrees. Factor that in when planning what to wear. The pattern we are seeing, this volatile mix of very wet conditions followed by cold snaps, is likely to continue through the rest of February and possibly into early March. We are not returning to settled weather anytime soon. That means you need to stay informed, check forecasts daily, and be prepared to adapt plans at short notice. Remember those flood risk areas I mentioned? If you live in any of those zones, this weekend is critical. The Environment Agency will likely issue flood warnings. Pay attention to them. Do not ignore flood warnings. For the week ahead summary, Friday is very wet everywhere except far northwest Scotland. Saturday is showery, still wet in many areas but less persistent. Sunday brings another system through. Monday sees another rain band. Tuesday continues unsettled. Wednesday might offer brief improvement. Thursday is when cold air arrives. Friday and Saturday next week could see widespread snow in the north, more marginal further south. To summarize everything, immediate concern is flooding this weekend from relentless heavy rain. Then next week, a rapid switch to colder conditions with snow risk, especially in the north. Then continued volatile weather through late February. Stay safe this weekend. Check on vulnerable neighbours. Do not drive through floodwater. And make sure you are back here Monday for that detailed snow forecast. It could be the most significant snowfall event of the winter for some areas. You will not want to miss it. Comment below with your location, and I will